Good Wednesday evening, YouTube. This is Tire Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good middle of the week. We're almost there towards the end of it. We're just halfway home. It's been a very long week for some of us, myself included, but onward we move. Got plenty to talk about here tonight. So, over the last few days, I've been watching an uptick in severe weather. I mean, we did talk about it in the long range video. Our pattern is going to take a very active turn, and as we can see here, based off of what we see on the SPC website, a lot has changed. So, we have a slight risk ongoing right now. Thunderstorms that have developed in the panhandle of Texas and into the panhandle of Oklahoma and southwestern Kansas. None of these have tornado warnings at the moment. I'll even refresh this just to make sure. I do think that's a little bit more, that possibility will increase a little bit later into the night, but I don't expect anything magnanimous. Another thing that I want to talk about, and I mentioned this also in the longer range video, is the critical fire weather risk that we've been looking at over the last few weeks. Other thing is that these storms are forming over areas where there are big fires right now. So I also will say there is a chance of a few Pyrocumulus Clouds, some of which will have a lot of cloud to ground lightning, which could cause more fire. Or these Pyrocumulus Clouds are actually called dry thunderstorms. So definitely be on the lookout, especially towards New Mexico and maybe far southwestern Texas. But and also I will say that this fire threat looks to be continuing for a while. But now that we've gone over that, and we also have corresponding red flag warnings for these areas, it's even pushed its way a little further west now to southern Nevada. You're in there, and north central parts of Arizona you are in there as well, towards the desert. So just be leery of anything burning really at this point, because it could get out of control very fast. So let's talk about the severe weather threat real quick. Slight risk tonight. Tornado threat minimal. Kind of spoke about that yesterday. Tornado threat definitely increases tomorrow, but it's still a marginal risk at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go up to slight. A lot of days recently have been going up to slight after being marginal for pretty much the entire 3-day period. But have a 15% wind threat towards the northern part of the severe weather threat, and we have a 5% hail risk all around. So go to day 2. Tornado threat still low, but I think it could be a bit higher, honestly, in my opinion. But I'm not one of the guys in the Storm Prediction Center. These guys are experts, and they're probably seeing something that I don't at the moment. So we have a 5% chance of wind and a 5% chance of hail in the same areas. So basically, the westernmost parts of Nebraska, and then into central Texas, heading towards central Oklahoma and central Kansas, there is a 5% hail and wind threat. So let's move on to day 3, which has now been upgraded to an enhanced risk. This is Friday. We've been talking about this for a bit now. There is a very small enhanced risk area that I actually would anticipate to be growing a bit in the next few forecasts between now and tomorrow, and really leading up to Friday. And this looks like a late evening event. All hazards seem possible, and we'll get a better idea of what the Storm Prediction Center thinks come tomorrow, because it'll finally be within that 48-hour window. But slight risk includes Wichita Falls, Fort Sill. You're just on the line, but I'll pretty much call you in there. Norman and Oklahoma City, you are definitely in there. Tulsa, you are as well. Wichita, you're in there. Kansas City, Lincoln, and Omaha, you're in there. Lincoln, I actually would say that you're just on the line of enhanced risk. So, yeah. But just north of Wichita is where our enhanced risk goes, and it stretches pretty much all the way to Lincoln. And then our marginal risk pretty much kisses the South Dakota border and stretches as far east as Des Moines, Des Moines, Iowa, Jefferson, Kansas, excuse me, Springfield, Missouri, and kind of just wraps around the rest of the area, even including Dallas. Chances low, but you still could get some severe weather out of it, and it's just to the east of Abilene, Texas. And then we have days 4 through 8. Won't go into too great of detail there, but we saw earlier the next 3 days after Friday are going to be very active as well. Towards the Ohio Valley, we're expecting severe weather on Saturday. Sunday, we have severe weather back in Texas once again towards central Texas, and then on day 6, this area moves to the east and includes central Texas and now Oklahoma City. These are all 15% risk areas, which are already slight risk. And then on days 7 and 8, we have predictability too low for both of them. So we have a lot to be watching on this end. So let's get into Friday a bit here. I'm going to look at a few parameters. I'm also going to look at I'm actually going to do something a little different. I'm going to look at the reflectivity first, and we're going to kind of just look at the areas of interest beyond that point. So the area of interest is here. We're getting into Friday morning. So do this the old school way instead of looking through the entire loop. Usually look through when there's nothing going on. So here's our upper level low. It's our disturbance. It's triggering our severe weather. There is a bit of a dry line set up with this as well. These reflectivity maps don't really pick up on these, don't really show these things, but you kind of see it with stuff like the temperature gradient map, with the temperature map. I will show that in a minute. But you can even see now, even into the morning and afternoon hours, that there is already a line of storms forming. And it's pretty far to the north too. You actually can look at the mode here real quick. And there we have it. Look at that, marginal severe. Temperatures are pretty cold around this area too, but that's what happens when you're right over the area of upper level forcing, which is our low. Ah, jeez, kind of fumbled that one. I'm sorry, guys. But let's move forward here. So that's the first little event, and then later into the evening hours, that's when things get really interesting. We have lows that are going to be forming ahead and maybe just south of the warm front. Temperatures are a little more favorable here towards the 60s with some of these storms around the low pressure center. But I'm really interested in anything that's a little bit south of that and is heading north. It's more than likely that has a greater chance of more than likely interacting with wind shear and running across a boundary that will make it more favorable for tornadic development. Maybe even supercellular development as well. So, like this right here, this is what I will be watching for on Friday really closely. Right now it's severe over here. I do think the tornado threat's a little bit higher than that though. So we have a line of storms that forms up here. I'm kind of interested to see what goes on further south. Well, and this actually is starting to take the shape of a nocturnal event, which is kind of concerning. But so far, though, I've only seen just severe weather, traditional style severe weather, maybe damaging wind and hail, but no tornadoes. Also, in the meanwhile, right around my favorite areas for snow, Montana and North Dakota, and the south or northwest corner of South Dakota, you guys are going to get a little burst of snow. This will not last long because our ridge is built so far north that this isn't that come mid-morning and afternoon, this isn't going to hold. This will probably either turn to rain or just melt away. So I'm trying to look into Saturday. This is as far as I can go with the model here. Trying to get some idea of where the tornado threat is, because I keep hearing that there is a pretty substantial one on Friday, but I can't see this far out with the NAM. It's just I'm just limited in some of my supplies here. truthfully, I think if there's any sort of chance of a tornado, it's going to be right around here. But we'll look at some of the other... Hang on a minute. Look, what's this here? Nope, still severe. I guess some things have changed since the last time I looked at this. Looked at it a little earlier today, and I haven't really... and I saw a little bit more of a substantial tornado threat. Maybe there is one a little bit north of it. Nope, just severe. Some things have changed, it looks like, and that's just how it goes in the weather world, but... Oops. So, going to the end of our model run here. Let's take a look at our temperatures. Based off the sounding that I got, these temperatures aren't very high, which plays a key factor in a lot of things. I mean, the Cape values are supposed to be pretty high. Actually off the charts for in a lot of cases, but I don't know, maybe the NAM's showing something different from the Euro. Don't really want to look at the Euro. I'm not trying to make this video too long, but this is within a this is a short range model. Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out myself right now. You can clearly see where our dry line is. Very tight gradient between the warm and cold temperatures. I also noticed the NAM has a different look to it as well as far as the timing. So it's gonna be kind of hard to really go in great detail right now. I think I'll try and make another video on this tomorrow. I may even end up making a video on the storms tomorrow anyway, depending on how they behave. But in the meantime, though, there's our dry line here, so it's a pretty good severe weather setup. Saturday looks interesting as well. I'm not really in range to go into detail with that. I'm still pretty far out in range to be talking about Friday. We're just now really getting in range, so I do expect these models to maybe start to fall in line with the Euro, like what they've been like what I've been seeing over the last couple of days. I might actually take a look at the Euro. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm a little bit puzzled here. Look at the low-level jet on the NAM real quick, and we'll just go from there. Then. I did expect a wind maximum, and we are going to get that right around here. I don't know if these storms, I'm not so sure that these storms fire here, though. Okay, so let's take a quick look, see if this verifies at all. So we're at 19Z, 4Z. Storms are there. I mean, the temperatures do seem warm, and there is a low-level jet here. So, I mean, the main probability seems to definitely be straight-line wind. But tornadoes can't be ruled out here. I do think that this is going to change. I think they're going to start to highlight a very brief tornado threat. I don't think it's super high. I mean, there's a small little sliver of 60 knot at about a few meters above the atmosphere, but it's looking kind of this is kind of making me a little uncertain. I'm not gonna lie. Based off what, because I mean it's a different picture than what the Euro has been painting, but I do definitely expect severe weather here come Friday. So let's take a look at the Cape. We'll move this forward all the way to Friday. And you can see that our storm, the area where our storms are going to be developing, we do have sufficient Cape values. We do have Cape values that are breaking above the 1,000, even hitting 2,000 in some areas. I do expect this to increase as we get later into the evening, and lo and behold, look at that. We're starting to get towards we're even getting into the 3,000s in some areas of central Kansas. So, wow, it actually really starts to get, we are in a very Cape-rich environment. And I think that also could be what limits the tornado threat, is because this environment is so conducive to thunderstorms. With tornadoes, you want them to be more discreet. this kind of lends itself towards more of a linear type setup, like a line of thunderstorms, a bow echo derecho, that kind of deal. Mesoscale convective system in MCS or QLCS even. So we move this forward, and by late evening into overnight, this of course we lose the Cape. Expect it to come back on Saturday, which will produce even more severe weather. So I'm gonna take a quick look at the flash rate here if I can find it. Okay. I might not be able to find it on here. I found it once before. I don't know if it was on the I'm not sure if I can find it. Maybe it's the Supercell Composite. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not sure where that is. It used to be on here. I don't know if it's changed, if pivotal weather has changed a bit, but we're gonna try and see what we can find here. This is surface-based supercell composite. So this is where the likelihood is highest for supercell storms to be forming. So based off of what we have here, we have an index starting to reach around 12 to 14. Maybe some higher numbers as we go into the late night hours. Ooh. We're starting to get into the 20s. This thing goes about as high as 46, maybe even 50. But we're getting some decent values here. So needless to say that whatever kind of weather we get here, whether it's in the form of a tornado or straight line winds or hail, it looks like it could potentially still be significant. So let's not downplay this here just because we aren't very certain of the tornado threat. Look at that, we're getting values into the upper 20s now, even 26. And, ooh, we even saw a little purple area there. Hang on. I think I saw it right here, right in this hour. Yep, we're hitting 30 over there. This is in south central Kansas. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of mode these storms develop in. I'm definitely anticipating a line, but if we can get any sort of prefrontal storms, I think they will take advantage of the environment, and we could get a spin up. I'm going to try and look at the NAM real quick just to make sure that I've crossed my T's and dotted my I's. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So let's go to the high-res Euro and see if we can figure something out here. So Genesis. Oops. So we're looking at the lapse rate. And that's here we go. Here it is. I was looking on the wrong model, so I apologize, guys. But let's take a look. We were looking about probably 50 hours out, I think. But look at this flash rate. Look at this flash rate that's about to kick in here. So we're sitting at about 48 hours out right now. And you can definitely see that there's plenty of activity. There's going to be some around Missouri. There's going to be some around South Dakota and Nebraska. And then when we move forward towards the point where things get really, really juicy, look at this. All of this area is an area where potential severe weather is either possible or likely. So kind of bonkers here, and we may as well even go further with it. Like, look at that. Look at the density here. We're getting towards about what, 4, 5, 6 flashes around here. So like I said, the greatest point of interest is right here between Kansas, Nebraska, and northern Missouri, and even into Iowa. So let's move this a little bit further along. And we'll even take a look at Saturday. Saturday isn't super impressive at the moment until we get into Arkansas. Oh wow, there's even a point where we got the 6 flash today. I didn't see that in the last time I looked. And then things really pick up Saturday night. Even in my area, it looks like we get a little bit of potential for some severe weather. For not severe weather, but just thunderstorms in general. But Arkansas gets walloped, and then come Sunday, looks like there's a little potential for maybe even a complex of storms. I know I won't apologize for getting off course here, but that's all I got for you guys tonight. A little bit of model confusion, a little bit of uncertainty here as far as the severe weather is concerned on Friday, but I definitely anticipate, or as far as the hazard mode of severe weather on Friday, but definitely looking like it could be a more significant severe weather event than what we've been seeing. We'll have to watch this real closely. I'm also concerned about the nocturnal threat. Maybe a few embedded tornadoes in that line of storms. But all in all, we won't be scared. We'll stay weather prepared. We'll stay weather aware and be prepared. But anyway, this is Ty, your Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.